I think the oneness is a part of all cultures, not just Aboriginal culture. I think the ideal of oneness, every single culture in the world has walked with. It seems that the more technology we get, the more we seem to forget it. If you think, for instance, in everyday life when we go out and we go hunting, first we give our blessings, we thank the universe around us for the air we breathe, for every breath we take. When we walk upon the ground, every step is like a prayer, so we tread softly. We need to tread soft. When you look under the ground, all our ancestors and those who have walked this land before us are down looking up above us, looking up to us like glass. Now, a lot of situations in the world where we have problems for war and famine and so on is simply because they forgot the oneness. It's not that they're not in oneness, because they still do have the oneness. They've just forgotten it. They don't realize the relationship they have with everything around them. Everybody needs water. Without that oneness of the water, without taking the water every day, they will die of thirst. They have a oneness with the food they eat, whether it be McDonald's or anything around them. It all comes from the earth. So when they eat, it is the life force within that food that becomes one with them, which sustains them, allows them to continue to walk. So whether they like it or not, they are still walking with a oneness. The water is through their veins, it's the blood that goes through their veins. Their flesh is made up of the flesh of animal or of plant, so they are still within the oneness. But many people seem to try to forget this, and they try to separate. They separate it and pigeonhole everything to try and give everything a place. But if you break down all of the garbage, all of the belief systems that have been created, everyone is still living in the oneness. Everybody. Every breath they take, they are breathing oxygen into their body. Their body is separating that oxygen, putting into the blood cells and sending that blood cells through their veins. So every single breath and every time we take something to drink, we have the oneness of the water and oneness of the oxygen going through every part of their body at every single time. The oneness is also what allows you to breathe without thought. We don't think, oh, quick, oh, I better breathe. We do it without thought. It comes naturally. It's a thing that we do without thought. It's an action thing. The dreaming side of it is to be able to do something without thought. And that is what the oneness is about. And that is what we are all a part of. And we have always been a part of it from the time we are born. Even from the time we are in the womb, we're in the sacred waters of the woman, which is within the sacred water hole before birth, before the waters break. So even before we leave the mother, we have a oneness with the water, with the mother who is bearing us, with the oxygen that she is breathing, with the water that she takes. Her blood becomes our blood, her air becomes our air. And only when we are born and we take that first breath for ourselves and that cord is cut, do we then start our relationship with the rest of the universe. Because while we're inside the womb, we are part of her. We're a oneness with the mother. We're a oneness with the water that she takes, with the food that she eats, with the air that she breathes. And she is then part of a bigger cycle, which is the oneness of life, of everything around us. Once we are born, we then take on that life for ourselves and take that relationship between ourselves and the universe around us. So the oneness is always happening, whether we like it or not. Everything is a cycle, everything. From you have a bushfire, the amazing amount of heat brings the smoke goes to the sky. All the smoke condenses. That heat causes condensation. All that water evaporates, goes up to the same smoke. Then once it joins together, it falls as rain. Once it falls as rain, it goes into the ground, hits the ground, gets absorbed by all of the grasses, by the plants, by the seeds, or runs through the rivers. Then the animals come and they eat that grass, and that water has come first from the ground, up to the sky, into the smoke, fallen as rain, then absorbed by the leaves, or by the grasses, or by the trees, or by the seeds. And then that life force, which is the seed and the water, that is taken by an animal, is eaten, digested, and that becomes the fuel and the food source for that animal. Then we come along and we hunt for that animal. We take the life of that animal. We eat that animal, and its life force then becomes part of us. So that water is simply transferring from one vehicle to another, to another, to another, to another. And the same thing within the plant life and the flora and fauna. It is just transferring and transforming as it goes along until it gets to us. And then when we pass on, we go back to the ground. We break down, we become worm food. And the worms digest us, and our oils go into the ground. No different to the oil which has been pumped out right now in Saudi Arabia and different parts of the world. The same oil, which is the body oil. The only difference has been underground for so long that it changes, and the chemical structure changes. And after millions and millions of years under there, we pump it out of the ground. We use it to make petrol and everything else, plastic bags. But if you think about it, we're one with the plastic bag even, because without the oil of every animal and every plant species that have died 1 million years ago and hundreds of millions of years ago, that plastic bag wouldn't be there, because that plastic bag is a byproduct from that. So we are at one with everything.